The 4xCCU master controller is more than just a CCU controller. It does a lot of controlling of many other peripherals that Blackmagic make, and that can be easily described by looking at we go system setup here, and if you have a look into the system, there's a tab called status. We click on status, and you can see down the bottom here we have all the different devices that can be connected. You can see the system is the actual main system here, which is your main CCU controller, but you also have the ATEM, so we can click on the ATEM and it'll tell you what's currently connected with the ATEM production switcher, and you can hear it's actually showing the current statuses. We can look at the video hub, and on here it'll tell you the video hub that I'm currently using. I'm using a workgroup video hub. Gives you all the parameters, and we have a Smartscope, which is this main unit here. You can't do CCU without one of them. And we also have a Multiview 4, which is just this little box here. And last but not least, we have a Terranex, which I'm currently doing the development on now, and that's this device here, and I use that device for or downstream color grading cameras like mosh pit cameras and such like that don't have CCU control. I can actually use the internal processing of the Terranex to do the color grading and matching, getting gains to do the exposure and things like that. But today I'm just going to give you the quick run through on the Smartscope. And the Smartscope is a two-screen device where you can have waveform on either, waveform, Vectorscope. If you look them up, Blackmagic Smart Scope, you'll see what it can do. Anyhow, we can have full control over the Smartscope. And the way we do that, we'll just come back out again, and I'm just going to, you'll see down here on the system settings, we'll just go back out to, you can see here you can set the IP address of the Smartscope down here, as all the other devices. And in the IP address, if you set the IP address to the first byte to not the same as the 4xCCU, it'll ignore it and not give you access to anything to do with the Smartscope. So we can just come back out to this is our main menu, which is selected down here, setup menu, and you can see down here there's a tab called Smartscope. So we click on the Smartscope, and here you can see these are all the controls of the Smartscope, and because there's two screens on the Smartscope, we can select either screen A or screen B. So that shows you screen B, and you can see screen B currently has displayed a picture, and there you have it. There's screen B, there's screen A. I never tried this tipping it upside down because things flip when you do that. I don't know what it does with the naming conventions, but you work that out, I guess, when you do it. So if I then go back over to screen A, you see it's on vector 75, so I can actually change that to whatever I want. And as I'm changing it, you see, come back here, you'll see it's actually changing. So that shows waveform, that shows picture, vector 100, as you can see down here, shows you what they are. Vector 75. I tend to do most of my work on Parade, which is RGB Parade. Some people like waveform, but if you're doing lots of color changes, it's good to have that on Parade. So as you can see, I'm actually pressing the actual name, which steps through each one. If I hold down the shift button while pressing, it'll step backwards. So without shift, it's stepping forward. You can also change it by selecting the box over here, which then goes white, and when I do that, it turns on this little light here. I call this the adjuster, and I can rotate right and rotate left to select what I want as my source picture. So as I said, I like to parade RGB, and you can do the same with the audio. If I select the audio on there, it'll deselect the vision, and you can see I can now change the channels for the audio. Now this audio is the audio if you have audio selected up above here, so I can actually change it to one of the audio, say audio Dbfs. I've got no audios coming through here at the moment, so you can't see anything flashing and thinging, but there you go. And then I can change the actual audio input that's required. And again, I can touch it and I'll step up, and then of course if it's also selected over there, I can do it here. So let's just put that on 1, 2. Now this same adjuster control can be used for changing the contrast and the brightness and the saturation, which are all done here. Now because I'm on side A, and side A is on, as you can see, is on audio, I'll just put that back over to yep, there it is, that one there. If I go over to side B, we've got a picture where you can see things happening a lot more. So I'm just going to go over to side B, and you can see pictures selected here. And if I go over to, say, brightness, I can then turn the knob, and because this camera is going to try and compensate, it's going to correct whatever's changing on this monitor. But I'm turning the brightness down, and you can either turn it up or down by just rotating the knob, or if you push the knob in, it does it in greater steps, so you can go all the way up to the other side. To reset it back to default, all you have to do is just press the shift button, and you can see that's gone back to default. So at any time you get yourself in a bit of a tangle, you can just hit the shift button and it'll put that back to default. If you deselect it, nothing will happen, but if you actually hold down this top A/B selection and press shift, it resets all the 3 settings to their default value, which will show up here as 0. And again, we can do the contrast. If I just push the button in, I'm winding down massive amounts, and as you can see, we can change the contrast. Now, if you've got a wall of these, because this works the same with the normal duo scopes, which I have way over here, and I've got another lot up over here somewhere. So this particular one here is a smart scope, but this also works with just your normal scope, your duo scopes. And so if you had a wall of them, you can actually use this to adjust the whole wall by just changing the IP addresses to suit the unit you want to change. And of course we have chroma down here as well, and I can increase or decrease the chroma. There we go, we'll wind it all the way up. This will show you much better if I wind it all the way down. And there it is. We've gone black and white. It's gone back 20 years. So that's pretty much the Smartscope interface. Very shortly I'm going to be doing a similar one with the on the Multiviewer 4. So that's a nice quick little video for you.